Paradise. Military expeditions led by the Prophet Al-Maghaazi. Bukhari. Book 5. Volume 59. Hadith 318. Narrated Anas. Haritha was martyred on the day of the Battle of Badr, and he was a young boy then. His mother came to the Prophet and said, "O Allah's Apostle, you know how dear Haritha is to me. If he is in paradise, I shall remain patient, and hope for reward from Allah, but if it is not so, then you shall see what I do." He said, "May Allah be merciful to you. Have you lost your senses? Do you think there is only one paradise? There are many paradises, and your son is in the most superior paradise of Al-Firdaus." Bukhari. Book 5. Volume 59. Hadith 319. Narrated Ali. Allah's Apostle sent me, Abu Marthad in Arizona Zubair, and all of us were riding horses, and said, "Go till you reach Rodat Kak, where there is a pagan woman carrying a letter from Hatib bin Abi Balta to the pagans of Mecca." So we found her riding her camel at the place which Allah's Apostle had mentioned. We said to her, "Give us the letter." She said, "I have no letter." Then we made her camel kneel down and we searched her, but we found no letter. Then we said, "Allah's Apostle had not told us a lie, certainly. Take out the letter, otherwise we will strip you naked." When she saw that we were determined, she put her hand below her waist belt, for she had tied her cloak round her waist, and she took out the letter. And we brought her to Allah's Apostle. Then Umar said, "O Allah's Apostle, this Hatib has betrayed Allah, His Apostle and the believers. Let me cut off his neck." The Prophet asked Hatib, "What made you do this?" Hatib said, "By Allah, I did not intend to give up my belief in Allah and His Apostle, but I wanted to have some influence among the Mecca people so that through it, Allah might protect my family and property. There is none of your companions but has some of his relatives there through whom Allah protects his family and property." The Prophet said, "He has spoken the truth. Do no say to him but good." Umar said, "He has betrayed Allah, His Apostle and the faithful believers. Let me cut off his neck." The Prophet said, "Is he not one of the Badr warriors?" Maybe Allah looked at the Badr warriors and said, "Do whatever you like, as I have granted paradise to you," or said, "I have forgiven you." On this, tears came out of Umar's eyes, and he said, "Allah and His Apostle know better." Bukhari. Book 5. Volume 59. Hadith 377. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah. On the day of the Battle of Uhud, a man came to the Prophet and said, "Can you tell me where I will be if I should get martyred?" The Prophet replied, "In paradise." The man threw away some dates he was carrying in his hand, and fought till he was martyred. Bukhari. Book 5. Volume 59. Hadith 378. Narrated Khabab bin al-Arat. We migrated in the company of Allah's Apostle, seeking Allah's pleasure. So our reward became due and sure with Allah. Some of us have been dead without enjoying anything of their rewards here, and one of them was Mus'ab bin Umar, who was martyred on the day of the Battle of Uhud, and did not leave anything except an amara, that is a sheet in which he was shrouded. If we covered his head with it, his feet became naked, and if we covered his feet with it, his head became naked. So the Prophet said to us, "Cover his head with it and put some idkhar, that is a kind of grass, over his feet, or throw idkhar over his feet. But some amongst us have got the fruits of their labor ripened, and they are collecting them." Narrated Anas. His uncle Anas bin Nadir was absent from the Battle of Badr, and he said, "I was absent from the first battle of the Prophet, that is Badr battle. And if Allah should let me participate in a battle with the Prophet, Allah will see how strongly I will fight. So he encountered the day of Uhud battle. The Muslims fled and he said, O Allah, I appeal to you to excuse me for what these people, that is the Muslims, have done, and I am clear from what the pagans have done. Then he went forward with his sword and met Sa'd bin Mu'adh fleeing, and asked him, Where are you going, O Sa'd? I detect the smell of paradise before Uhud. Then he proceeded on and was martyred. Nobody was able to recognize him till his sister recognized him by a mole on his body or by the tips of his fingers. He had over 80 wounds caused by stabbing, striking or shooting with arrows. Bukhari. Book 5. Volume 59. Hadith 434. Narrated Ikrimah bin Khalid. Ibn Umar said, I went to Hafsa while water was dribbling from her twined braids. I said, The condition of the people is as you see, and no authority has been given to me. Hafsa said, To me, go to them, and as they, that is the people, are waiting for you. And I am afraid your absence from them will produce division amongst them. So Hafsa did not leave Ibn Umar till we went to them. When the people differed, Muawiyah addressed the people saying, If anybody wants to say anything in this matter of the caliphate, he should show up and not conceal himself. For we are more rightful to be a caliph than he and his father. On that, Habib bin Maslama said to Ibn Umar, Why don't you reply to him, that is Muawiyah? Abdullah bin Umar said, I untied my garment that was going round my back and legs while I was sitting and was about to say, He who fought against you and against your father for the sake of Islam is more rightful to be a caliph, but I was afraid that my statement might produce differences amongst the people and cause bloodshed, and my statement might be interpreted not as I intended. So I kept quiet, remembering what Allah has prepared in the gardens of paradise for those who are patient and prefer the hereafter to this worldly life. Habib said, You did what kept you safe and secure, that is, you were wise in doing so. Bukhari. Book 5. Volume 59. Hadith 514. Narrated Sal bin Sa'd as-Sa'di. Allah's apostle and his army encountered the pagans, and the two armies fought, and then Allah's apostle returned to his army camps, and the others, that is the enemy, returned to their army camps. Amongst the companions of the Prophet there was a man who could not help pursuing any single isolated pagan to strike him with his sword. Somebody said, None has benefited the Muslims today more than so and so. On that Allah's apostle said, He is from the people of the hell fire, certainly. A man amongst the people, that is Muslims, said, I will accompany him to know the fact. So he went along with him, and whenever he stopped with him, and whenever he hastened with him. The brave man then got wounded severely, and seeking to die at once, he planted his sword into the ground and put its point against his chest in between his breasts, and then threw himself on it and committed suicide. On that the person who was accompanying the deceased all the time came to Allah's apostle and said, I testify that you are the apostle of Allah. The Prophet said, Why is that? What makes you say so? He said, It is concerning the man whom you have already mentioned as one of the dwellers of hellfire. The people were surprised by your statement, and I said to them, I will try to find out the truth about him for you. So I went out after him, and he was then inflicted with a severe wound, and because of that, he hurried to bring death upon himself by planting the handle of his sword into the ground and directing its tip towards his chest between his breasts. And then he threw himself over it and committed suicide. Allah's apostle then said, A man may do what seem to the people as the deeds of the dwellers of paradise, but he's from the dwellers of the hell fire, and another may do what seem to the people as the deeds of the dwellers of the hellfire, but he's from the dwellers of paradise. Bukhari. Book 5, Volume 59, Hadith 515. Narrated Abu Hurairah. We witnessed the Battle of Khabar. Allah's apostle said about one of those who were with him and who claimed to be a Muslim, "This man is from the dwellers of the hell fire." When the battle started, the fellow fought so violently and bravely that he received plenty of wounds. Some of the people were about to doubt the Prophet's statement, but the man, feeling the pain of his wounds, put his hand into his quiver and took out of it some arrows with which he slaughtered himself, that is, committed suicide. Then some men amongst the Muslims came hurriedly and said, "O Allah's apostle, Allah has made your statement true, so and so has committed suicide." The Prophet said, "O so and so, get up and make an announcement that none but a believer will enter paradise, and that Allah may support the religion with an unchaste evil wicked man." Bukhari. Book 5, Volume 59, Hadith 516. Narrated Abu Musa al-Ash'ari. When Allah's apostle fought the battle of Khabar, or when Allah's apostle went towards it, whenever the people passed over a high place overlooking a valley, they raised their voices saying, "Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! None has the right to be worshipped except Allah." And that Allah's apostle said to them, "Lower your voices, for you are not calling a deaf or an absent one, but you are calling a hearer who is near and is with you." I was behind the riding animal of Allah's apostle, and he heard me saying, "There is neither might nor power but with Allah." On that he said to me, "O Abdullah bin K." I said, "Labbaik, O Allah's apostle." He said, "Shall I tell you a sentence which is one of the treasures of paradise?" I said, "Yes, O Allah's apostle." "Let my father and mother be sacrificed for your sake." He said, There is neither might nor power but with Allah." Bukhari. Book 5, Volume 59, Hadith 518. Narrated Sal. During one of his ghazawat, the Prophet encountered the pagans, and the two armies fought, and then each of them returned to their army camps. Amongst the army of the Muslims there was a man who would follow every pagan separated from the army and strike him with his sword. It was said, "O Allah's apostle, none has fought so satisfactorily as so, and so namely, that brave Muslim." The Prophet said, "He is from the dwellers of the hellfire." The people said, "Who amongst us will be of the dwellers of paradise if this man is from the dwellers of the hell fire?" Then a man from amongst the people said, "I will follow him and accompany him in his fast and slow movements." The brave man got wounded, and wanting to die at once, he put the handle of his sword on the ground and its tip in between his breasts, and then threw himself over it, committing suicide. Then the man who had watched the deceased returned to the Prophet and said, "I testify that you are apostle of Allah." The Prophet said, "What is this?" The man told him the whole story. The Prophet said, "A man may do what may seem to the people as the deeds of the dwellers of paradise, but he's of the dwellers of the hellfire. And a man may do what may seem to the people as the deeds of the dwellers of the hell fire, but he's from the dwellers of paradise." Bukhari. Book 5, Volume 59, Hadith 612. Narrated Abu Musa. When the Prophet had finished from the battle of Hunain, he sent Abu Amir at the head of an army to Adaz. That is, Abu Amir met Ur-Aid bin Asuma, and Ur-Aid was killed and Allah defeated his companions. The Prophet sent me with Abu Amir. Abu Amir was shot at his knee with an arrow which a man from Jushm had shot and fixed into his knee. I went to him and said, "O uncle, who shot you?" He pointed me out his killer, saying, "That is my killer who shot me with an arrow." So I headed towards him and overtook him, and when he saw me, he fled. and I followed him and started saying to him, "Won't you be ashamed? Won't you stop?" So that person stopped, and we exchanged 2 hits with the swords and I killed him. Then I said to Abu Amir, "Allah has killed your killer." He said, "Take out this arrow." So I removed it, and water oozed out of the wound. He then said, "O son of my brother, convey my compliments to the Prophet and request him to ask Allah's forgiveness for me." Abu Amir made me his successor in commanding the people, that is troops. He survived for a short while and then died. Later I returned and entered upon the Prophet at his house, and found him lying in a bed made of stalks of date, palm leaves knitted with ropes, and on it there was bedding. The strings of the bed had their traces over his back and sides. Then I told the Prophet about our and Abu Amir's news, and how he had said, "Tell him to ask for Allah's forgiveness for me." The Prophet asked for water, performed ablution, and then raised hands, saying, "O Allah's forgive abode, Abu Amir." At that time I saw the whiteness of the Prophet's armpits. The Prophet then said, "O Allah, make him, that is Abu Amir, on the day of resurrection, superior to many of your human creatures." I said, "Will you ask Allah's forgiveness for me?" On that, the Prophet said, "O Allah, forgive the sins of Abdullah bin K and admit him to a nice entrance, that is paradise, on the day of resurrection." Abu Burda said, one of the prayers was for Abu Amir and the other was for Abu Musa, that is Abdullah bin K. Bukhari. Book 5. Volume 59. Hadith 616. Narrated Abu Uthman. I heard from Sa'd, the first man who has thrown an arrow in Allah's cause, and from Abu Bakr, who jumped over the wall of the Taif fort along with a few persons and came to the Prophet. They both said, "We heard the Prophet saying, if somebody claims to be the son of somebody other than his father knowingly, he will be denied paradise, that is, he will not enter paradise." Narrated Ma'mar from Asim from Abu al-Aliyah or Abu Uthman and Nadi, who said, I heard Sa'd and Abu Bakr narrating from the Prophet. Asim said, I said to him, very trustworthy persons have narrated to you. He said, yes. One of them was the first to throw an arrow in Allah's cause, and the other came to the Prophet in a group of 30. 3 persons from Taif. Bukhari. Book 5. Volume 59. Hadith 654. Narrated Abu Jamra. I said to Ibn Abbas, I have an earthenware pot containing a bid, that is water and dates or grapes for me, and I drink of it while it is sweet. If I drink much of it and stay with the people for a long time, I get afraid that they may discover it, for I will appear as if I were drunk. Ibn Abbas said, a delegation of Abdul K came to Allah's apostle and he said, Welcome, O people. Neither will you have disgrace nor will you regret. They said, O Allah's apostle, there are the mutter pagans between you and us, so we cannot come to you except in the sacred months. So please teach us some orders on acting upon which we will enter paradise. Besides, we will preach that to our people who are behind us. The Prophet said, I order you to do 4 things and forbid you from 4 things. I order you to believe in Allah. Do you know what is to believe in Allah? That is to testify that none has the right to be worshipped except Allah. I order you also to offer prayers perfectly, to pay zakat, and to fast the month of Ramadan, and to give the khumus. That is 1/5 of the booty for Allah's sake. I forbid you from 4 other things, that is the wine that is prepared in Ad-Duba, and Nakur, Arizona Hantam, and Al-Muzafat. See Hadith No. 50 Volume 1. Bukhari. Book 5. Volume 59. Hadith 721. Narrated Aisha. When Allah's apostle was in good health, he used to say, Never does a prophet die unless he has shown his place in paradise before his death. and then he is made alive or given option. When the Prophet became ill and his last moments came while his head was on my thigh, he became unconscious, and when he came to his senses, he looked towards the roof of the house and then said, "O Allah, please let me be with the highest companion." Thereupon I said, "Hence he is not going to stay with us." Then I came to know that his state was the confirmation of the narration he used to mention to us while he was in good health. Bukhari. Book 5. Volume 59. Hadith 739. Narrated Anas. When the ailment of the Prophet got aggravated, he became unconscious, whereupon Fatima said, "Oh, how distressed my father is." He said, "Your father will have no more distress after today." When he expired, she said, "O Father, who has responded to the call of the Lord? Who has invited him? O Father, whose dwelling place is the garden of paradise, that is Firdaus. O Father, we convey this news of your death to Gabriel." When he was buried, Fatima said, "O Anas, do you feel pleased to throw earth over Allah's apostle?" Bukhari. Book 5. Volume 59. Hadith 740. Narrated Aisha. When the Prophet was healthy, he used to say, "No soul of a prophet is captured till he is shown his place in paradise, and then he is given the option." When death approached him while his head was on my thigh, he became unconscious and then recovered his consciousness. He then looked at the ceiling of the house and said, "O Allah, with the highest companions." I said to myself, "Hence he is not going to choose us." Then I realized that what he had said was the application of the narration which he used to mention to us when he was healthy. The last word he spoke was, "O Allah, with the highest companion."